Hello, BookTube. Well, I was wrong about the weather. As I mentioned the other day, the weather changed. Uh, Cooler air came through Boston. The days still get hot. The middle of the day, the height of the day, still gets hot. But the air has completely changed. It's much drier, and the nights are cool. The rest of the week, today, the daytime high is going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit, as opposed to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad. But that's it for the rest of the week. The daytime high in the week is going to steadily increase from there into the mid 80s and stay there. So the days won't be cool, but there will be that swing again, that normal swing again. You know, when you get day after day of a heat wave, and quite a few of you in the United States know what I'm talking about here. If you get day after day of a heat wave, suddenly you don't have any swing at all. Suddenly it's just hot all the time. Even if it's marginally cooler at some point deep in the night, it's just hot all the time. And that gets to you after a while. It gets to the little bean. You'll notice the change in location here. No little book room background because it seems to me that the ranks of the Donoghue are completely split down the middle on this crucial subject. If I film in the little book room, then you get the panorama of my books, of my favorite books, which I told the anecdote the other day that one person looking at those books years ago said that they thought it was a computer-generated background. A lot of you find that funny. There's quite a few of you by now have stood in that room and seen that it's not computer-generated. It's not a green screen. If you get the background in the little book room, then you don't get Frida. And if you get Frida, you don't get the background in the little book room. And the ranks of the Donoghue seem split down the middle, so I thought I would give you a little Frida today. She was a little bit of an odd morning. She's ordinarily not a morning person at all. Ordinarily I can count on her to it's rather adorable. She will sort of lift her head all groggy with her mustaches. Her whiskers just go everywhere when she's sleeping. She'll sort of lift her head around 8 or 9 and just sort of look around and then ratchet back down to sleep. Every morning that she does that around 8 or 9, I always say, "You want to go out, baby? You ready to get up?" But she never is. And then around 10 or 11, she'll sort of raise her head again and start stretching and contorting all over the place in very melodramatic ways. And that means I might be able to convince her to get out of bed. She prefers noon. But this morning, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. And she was insistent. She wasn't just saying, "Can I?" She was insistent. She wanted to go out at 6 a.m. And I was expecting the worst, right? If she's a creature of habit, I know that. She's a creature of routine, and she hates mornings. So I expected that if she needs to go out, if she's insistent, that must mean the worst. It must mean diarrhea. Or throwing up or something like that, but there wasn't anything. It was just a normal walk. She just wanted to do it 5 hours earlier than usual. So she's been a little bit on the odd side all day long too, and I know she's not feeling bad. It's just she's almost 5. Almost 5 is nothing to sneeze at in a 15-year lifetime. So, but anyway, we've got some mail. We've got 2 packages of mail here. It's not much, but we've done mail hauls with less. So let's see. I did one. I forget who it was. One of you, I made a 6-minute video the other day, and one of you was just morally outraged by that. And I actually got a couple of email comments about that. Aside from the moral outrage, just saying, "What's going on here? Are you okay?" I want to stress. I want to stress. I don't know what's going on this channel as far as YouTube goes. I never have, and I'm convinced I never will. I'm not challenging it anymore. I view it as something like the mystery of the Trinity, where it's not solvable. But nevertheless, I don't understand you people. I don't understand why on this channel alone on YouTube, everybody just wants the videos to be 40 minutes long. Every one of them, they want every video to be 40 minutes long. I don't get that. Unless it's just that you want to look at Frida for all of that time. But you can look at my Instagram. She's all over my Instagram. Anyway, what have we got here? Oh, okay, great. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Okay, this is a double. This is something we've already seen before. This is by Camilla Trincieri. This is The Bitter Taste of Murder. This is the second adventure of a fish out of water former New York City police detective in Tuscany. So this is the follow-up to a book called Murder in Chianti. 1 year after moving to his late wife's Tuscan home in Gravigna, Nico Doyle has fully settled into life there, seeing friends in the course of daily errands and helping to serve the test recipes of his in-laws' restaurant. But you know already what we've talked about this a couple of times, because I got the first book in the series from the publisher. You know already that if you have a practiced New York City Police Department murder detective, a detective who's got experience in solving murders, you know perfectly well they're not going to not solve murders wherever they go. But the town is shaken by the arrival of the wine critic Michel Mantelli in his flashy Jaguar. Mantelli holds his influential culinary magazine and blog over Gravigna's vintners and restaurateurs, and to Marshal Perillo, the local law enforcement, to his display the traffic laws. He has either impressed or ticked off most of Gravigna's residents, but most of all Nico's landlord, Aldo Ferri, whose vineyard Mantelli seems intent on ruining. Mantelli's lavish, larger-than-life, and often vindictive personality make him many enemies, and when he is poisoned, Perillo has his headache of a high-profile murder on his hands and once again turns to Nico for help. And this is a standard gimmick in murder mysteries, is to have the murder. It's especially a standard gimmick in cozy murder mysteries, to make sure that the murder victim had it coming. You don't want. I think these might walk the line between police procedural and cozy murder mysteries. Usually, location-stressed murder mysteries are cozies. But you want to walk the line. You want, if you have something that has even one toe in the pool of cozy murder mysteries, the one thing you don't want associated with the murder is grief. You don't want anybody to be sorry that the victim is dead. They're either a dusty, faded nobody that nobody's ever heard of, or that nobody even knew well, or there's something like this: death of a critic, death of a bad Samaritan, that sort of thing, where you'll often find it in murder mysteries, where the victim is someone no one liked. So that element is removed. You need that element to be removed in order for it to qualify at all as a cozy murder mystery. And I got a copy of this, and I got a copy of the first book in the series. So now I have a second one of these. Now this comes out, that automatically suggests something to me. So you'll forgive the segue to a plug. This comes out this month, August. I don't have a pub sheet for it, but it's new. It's brand new. In hardcover. I believe this is going to be a $27 hardcover, and it's probably out already, since August is halfway over. It's probably out already. Since this is a double, I want to use this as an opportunity to plug Open Letters Review, the online literary journal where I am one of the editors. And if you look at the masthead at Open Letters Review, I think there's a link on every video of mine, you'll see that quite a few names on the masthead that you know. There are booktubers there, there are published authors there on different continents in different languages. There are critics there, book critics. It's a good crew to fall in with. Open Letters Review is the successor to Open Letters Monthly, an online literary journal that I helped to found and that I helped to run for 10 years. Open Letters Monthly and Open Letters Review have more than their share of critical notice, of book reviews, of book blurbs on paperback editions of books. More than their fair share. We get a lot more attention than a free online literary journal would probably get, partially because two of the names on that masthead are me and my friend Sam Sachs, and we are both professional book critics. No, we don't have any other gigs. We don't do anything else. We're just professional book critics. That's all we do, and that number is fairly small. He and I, in our various venues, him for the Wall Street Journal, me mostly for the Christian Science Monitor, but also for the Boston Globe and the Washington Post, have had more than our share of blurbs on paperback books ourselves under our own right. And I think there's probably a bit of, what would you call it, game that conveys from that. Well, the point I'm trying to make is not to brag, it's to say this is a fine group to fall in with if you want to try your hand at book reviewing. We've had many people do this, first at Open Letters Monthly and then at Open Letters Review, and I am happy to say, proud to say, that quite a few of those people went on to get reviews in other journals. I make no pretense of the fact that Open Letters Review is a starting place. I'm not saying that it has to be, the final crown for anybody. It's a very good starting place. You write a review for Open Letters Review, you write another one, you write a third one, you write a fourth one, suddenly you've got a string file. What the old print journalism world used to refer to as a string file. Something that you can then take to another editor at some other journal and say, okay, well, you can see from this that I know how to do this. This is the review that you would give me is not the first one that I will be doing. You will not have to hold my hand. Sooner rather than later, that editor will run something of yours, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 publications in your string file and you're off to the races. Many people have done that through Open Letters Monthly and then also through Open Letters Review. If you want to try it and you're interested in murder mysteries, I have a double of this I'd be happy to send you. If you want to try it and you're not interested in murder mysteries, you should still sing out. Email me. I leave my email on every video. If you're interested in trying it out, just email me. It doesn't have to be this book. This book, it only came to mind because it's a double. But it can be anything. As you've seen in the mail hauls on this channel, I get lots of stuff. I get a large variety, and we can also try to get you something directly, set you up with a NetGalley account, or if there's something coming out there in September that you're interested in, I can see if I can get you a copy. Perfectly happy to do a lot. I will get you copies of review books. I will help you with your reviews. I'll help you with writing them and refining them. I'll give you all sorts of advice, even line edits. I will even do line edits. I don't think any of the other editors at Open Letters are really free to do that, but I will, and I will do it for free. That's again, I don't mean to overstress this or to toot my own horn, but that's a professional book critic who's written hundreds and hundreds of book reviews in the last 15 years on a couple of different continents, offering to line edit you for free. That kind of offer is not common. If you're interested in trying it, simply let me know. The one caveat I will add, because it crops up with depressing regularity, is I am telling you, feel free to let me know through the email that I post on every video. Okay? Meaning use that email. Don't find me somewhere else, like through Open Letters Monthly, through Open Letters Review, through stevedonoghue.com. Don't find me somewhere else and ask me that way. Right? If you send me an email through Open Letters Review, then you're sending an email to a masthead full of editors. But you're not. You're addressing me individually, so email me individually. But if you're interested, it doesn't have to be a murder mystery. I can get you almost anything, and I'd be happy to work with you. It's a lot of fun, and it's also, just on a personal level, an immense source of pride to watch people who started at Open Letters Review go on and get other reviews, get other venues, more and more venues. I think it means we're doing something right. But anyway, we'll go on to the next package here. That's all I wanted to say. It's a double, so it prompted me to say that. Let's see what this next one is. Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. All right. This comes out in November. Good Lord. This is definitely something one of you could review and not me. And this doesn't have to be a double. I'll send you this copy. I'll send you this copy. I guarantee you, listening to me right now, is at least a dozen people who know this subject infinitely better than I do and could write a very good review. Keep in mind, the knowledge of a subject does not guarantee a good review. But if you bring the knowledge, I will help you to write a good review. And this is something that I am not the right reviewer for this book. This is by Edith Schloss, whose name sounds familiar. Let's see, what has she done that I might know? Oh, she's a painter. Oh, maybe I don't know her at all. No, I don't think I know her at all. All right, well, anyway, this is the Loft generation. Not Lost, but Loft. From de Konings to Twombly. Portraits and Sketches, 1942 to 2011. This is a book about modern art. A fascinating collection of memoirs about the New York School of painters and their times. The author belonged to the community of artists and intellectuals who brought the art world's center of activity to Manhattan during the post-war years. In parentheses, I would add, and produced absolutely nothing of any quality whatsoever. Absolutely nothing of any quality whatsoever. Now, if you hear me say that, and it makes you squeal in outrage because of how wrong I am, consider reviewing this book. The author's life was marked with two major migrations, which frame and charge the events of this book. As the artist Mira Shore notes in the introduction, she was born to a prosperous Jewish family in Germany and moved to London in 1938. During the Blitz, she left England for the United States, part of an exodus that would soon change the course of art history. In the 1960s, after a painful separation from her husband, the photographer and filmmaker Rudy Burkhardt, Schloss moved to Italy, where she spent time with artists such as Giorgio Morandi, Cy Twombly, and Francesca Woodman. A rogues gallery, as far as I'm concerned, but maybe not you. The Loft Generation was edited by Mary Venturini, who was Schloss's editor for more than 20 years at Wanted in Room, a magazine for expats in Rome that was founded in 1985. The invaluable new book collects the author's gimlet-eyed writing about people like Elaine and Willem de Kooning, Larry Rivers, and John Cage. John Cage, short extending to bad music as well. What's a composition? Well, it's just a stretch of silence where the orchestra assembles and then doesn't play anything. Brilliant. Genius. All right. Anyway. Anyway, this is scheduled for publication in early November from Frost, Rush, and Giroux. This is the advanced copy, and early November is quite some time from now. So, if you have a background in art, if you are especially sympathetic to art, see, here we go. Here's a photograph in here. This is Walter Auerbach, photographed by Willem de Kooning in front of an unfinished work called Woman. That is not graffiti. That is not what happens to a wall when children have been at it. That's a piece of artwork that's apparently buried in there somewhere as a woman. And if you want to own it for yourself, well, that's $16 million. Thanks. Check a money order. So I am not the person to review this. I'm really happy that FSG sent it to me, but I am going to show it to you in my capacity as an editor rather than my capacity as a reviewer. I will savage this. I won't be able to keep the central fraud at the heart of this whole story out of my review. And that's not the kind of review that will probably do this book the best justice. So it's a perfect example. Here we have two perfect examples for this little pitch mail haul. Two perfect examples. One is a mystery. The other is modern crappy art. If you feel like reviewing either of those books, I'd be happy to work with you. And if you feel like reviewing anything that isn't either of these two books, I'd be happy to work with you. There's no harm in at least trying. I'm perfectly happy now that I'm okay with the pandemic here in this country. I feel a little bit more confident going out and around to places. Now that that is true, I am in a position again to mail you stuff. So I am happy to do that. That is the most imposition that exists anywhere in here. You get a book in the mail from me. If you want to try your hand at reviewing it, great, I will help you. If you get a book in the mail from me, or 2 books in the mail from me, or 3 books in the mail from me, and you just don't feel inspired to write reviews of any of them, well, at least we tried, right? So let me know. But anyway, that's a very cauzy mail haul, wasn't it? I think there'll probably be more mail today. I'd be willing to bet there'll be another mail haul. Not sure if I'll get to it today. I have a rather busy day ahead of me. I know. I'm as surprised as you are. But if I can, I will. So I will wrap this up for now. I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.